this is a story about a dragon. I really like this because this is what storytelling should be. Storytelling should be about dragons and magic and escaping. This is a story from China, but it kind of could come from anywhere really. Many, many, many years ago, there lived in a small and very poor village a ribbon maker, and she made the most beautiful ribbons that anyone had ever seen. And one day, people from her village, and of course everyone in her village, had decorated their clothes with her ribbons. People from her village went to the capital city, and there they were, all these strange people walking through the streets with their beautifully decorated clothes. And the emperor was riding past in his carriage, and he saw them, and he saw the ribbons, and he asked them, where did they get those ribbons from? And so the villagers, being overawed by the emperor, as of course you would be, told them where their village was, and they told him the name of the ribbon maker. So, without delay, the emperor sent some of his soldiers to the village, and they found the ribbon maker's house. And they dragged her from her little cottage, placed her in the back of a cart, and took her all the way to the capital and all the way to the emperor's palace. And the emperor took the ribbon maker and he imprisoned her at the top of a very tall tower. And there was the ribbon maker, afraid for her life as to what was going to happen to her. And the emperor came up to her cell and said, I have brought you this cloth, I have brought you these needles, I have brought you this thread. And what I want you to do in the next 3 days is to sew me a chicken. And the ribbon maker looked at him. Well, I can sew you a toy chicken. It's not difficult. And the emperor said, but I have seen your work. I have seen the magic in your ribbons. I have seen how wonderful they are. I want this toy chicken to come alive and to stretch its wings and to cluck like a real chicken would. And so the poor ribbon maker was left sitting in a cell with the cloth and the thread and the needles, and the emperor's last words ringing in her ears that if she failed in this task, the emperor's executioner would remove her head. So for the next 3 days, the ribbon maker sewed and sewed and sewed, and she made the most beautiful toy chicken that anyone had ever seen. And as she sat there weeping, one of her needles pricked her thumb, and a little of her blood fell on the chicken. And with that, the chicken woke up and began to cluck like a live chicken would and stretched its wing. So when the emperor came to see the ribbon maker in the little cell at the top of the tower, he was amazed by what she'd achieved. And so the ribbon maker thought, oh, he'll let me go home now. I can go back to my village and I can go back to making my ribbons. But what the emperor did was he gave her more cloth and more thread and more needles. And he said, I want you to make me a peacock. I want you to make me the most beautiful peacock that anyone has ever seen. And it must come alive. And it must make that awful, really loud, high-pitched cry that peacocks make. And it must stretch its wings. And the ribbon maker sat sewing and sewed and sewed and sewed, and she made the most beautiful peacock that ever you saw. And she was sitting there feeling sorry for herself, thinking, how will the people of the village manage without me? And I will never get out of this tower alive. But as she sat there weeping, and her tears fell onto the peacock, and as a little of her blood fell onto the peacock, it too woke up and opened its eyes and looked around and stretched its wings. And the emperor was ecstatic when he saw it. Marvellous. And the ribbon maker thought, he'll surely let me go home now. But the emperor had delivered to her more cloth and more thread and more needles. And his wish this time was that she made a dragon. And of course the dragon had to wake up and open its eyes and stretch its wings. I don't know what noise dragons make, but I suspect it's quite loud. And so the ribbon maker sat for the next 3 days, sewing and sewing and sewing a dragon, and thinking, how am I ever going to get out of here? How am I ever going to escape from the executioner? And as she wept, and her tears fell onto the dragon, and she pricked her thumb, and a little of her blood fell onto the dragon, and the dragon awoke, opened its eye, and stretched its wings. And suddenly the ribbon maker realised. She jumped onto the dragon's back, and it flew up and flew out of the window. And the ribbon maker had her ribbons with her, and she was so happy that she let the ribbons trail behind her, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo and violet. And she flew all the way back to her village. And sometimes when it's raining, like the ribbon maker's tears, you can see the memory of her ribbons cascading through the sky. Well, how did you think rainbows were made? Now that to me, I love that story because I think that the tower is such a powerful image. And the tower is often something that we create for ourselves. The tower is obviously being miserable. And stories are the dragons. Stories are what enable us to escape from the tower and escape from our boring kind of lives into something wonderful and magical where we can fly and where there are dragons and mermaids and selkies and all other sorts of wonderful things. And of course this is how storytelling should be. Storytelling should be about maintaining the tradition and about engaging with the magical world of brave warriors, wise kings, clever witches, and all those amazingly wonderful things. Unfortunately, storytelling is changing, and it's going far away from the tradition, and going towards people talking about themselves, and it's all going on to counselling and therapy. And if you've seen the film The Fight Club, where Helena Bonham Carter's character spends a lot of time hanging around support groups where everybody talks about, and this isn't how storytelling should be. Storytelling should not be about people's own lives. It should be about the old traditional stories of, King Arthur, Robin Hood, and it doesn't really matter whereabouts in the world a story comes from, because we all, humanity anywhere in the world, we all tell stories, and we have always all told stories, and the same threads appear and anywhere in the world. So don't bore everyone to tears talking about your own problems, because nobody really cares. Tell stories about magic and wonder. So my wish to you is that your lives may be filled with magic wonder, rainbows, and joy. And when life does send you the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, may you be granted the strength to deal with them. And you will. And you'll find that strength within yourself. Because it's when terrible things happen in your life that you find that inner strength within yourself. And you'll find it, and you'll get through it, just like the ribbon maker did. You'll find the solutions, and you'll find the escape from your own tower. You really will. We all do. May your life be filled with magic and stories and cakes and ale. My name's Fiona. I am on YouTube as Fiona Dowson. I hope to see you again soon. Take care.